Baseball is back, and with the NBA and NHL playoffs around the corner, we have a fantastic offer to keep you in action from the first pitch to the kickoff of the upcoming NFL season. We have you covered with every client release, including any 5% best bets from your favorite WagerTalk or Sports Memo handicapper from the day you sign up to the 2023 Pro Football Hall of Fame game when the Cleveland Browns and the New York Jets kick off at 8 p.m. on Thursday, August 3rd for under $4.50 per day, coming out to just $32 per week. To lock in your favorite WagerTalk or Sports Memo expert through the start of the NFL preseason, it would cost you well over $1,000. Before a limited time, pay only $4.99, coming out to just under $4.51 per day. As an added bonus, your access begins when you sign up, so the earlier you do, the more free days you'll get. This offer will include all sports and any 5% best bets played during this time, so act fast and lock in your favorite WagerTalk or Sports Memo handicapper through the start of the football season for the lowest price possible. This incredible playoffs to preseason kickoff promotion ends at midnight on Monday, April 17th.
Welcome, everybody, to WagerTalk Today. I am Lawrence Presman. He is Teddy Covers, and you're watching the best all-sports daily betting show on the planet. Teddy, who's on, and what will we be talking about today, my brother?
Steve Merril is going to lead off the show. He's going to talk some Marlins and Phillies, early start afternoon action today, as well as some Royals and Rangers in MLB action for tonight. So a pair of MLB games Steve Merril is going to break down. Jimmy Adams, too, is going to talk a little MLB for today. He's going to talk some Mets, Padres, and some Braves, Reds. My big game breakdown, we're going to talk about the Bulls and the Raptors in NBA play-in action tonight. And, of course, Arthur DiCesare to close out the show, giving us some insights from the other side of the counter. Art, of course, a long-time risk management supervisor over at the Westgate Superbook. If we get 100 likes, we'll get a presidential address to close out the show as well. So there's the lineup. Let's get into it. It is a loaded Wednesday edition.
Teddy Covers, yeah, there'll be a daily presidential address. I went 2-1 yesterday. I have no doubt we're going to get to 100 likes, so thanks ahead of time to everybody. Before we get into the show, I want to make mention that we're running a promo for first-time buyers. And guys, I really suggest if you watch the show, if you enjoy our content, whether it's WagerTalk Today or Puck Time, First Pitch, the NBA show, etc., take advantage of this offer and grab one of us. You get a half price if you've never purchased from us before. Use the promo code TRYWT. Teddy, a lot of guys ask me regularly, and you, and in the chat room, why should they buy picks from experts, et cetera, et cetera. And really, the bottom line is we do a ton of work. We win on a regular basis. And when I say regular, that's not a daily thing. It is over a long period of time, we are going to win. I made profit across all sports last year. I'm up profits again this year. You got guys like Steve Merril and Teddy Covers who are just annihilating the NBA. Same with me and Marco. We got a lot of guys up big already in baseball. Carmine Bianco, Jazzy Ray are dominating in NHL. Just take 2 minutes. Buy a package, first-time user. Use the promo code TRYWT. See how we work, the type of work we provide you, and hopefully you'll join us because I guarantee you will win on a regular basis if you are playing one of our experts. These are highly screened guys, all at the top of their game, world-class handicappers, and we are honest and we are good people, frankly. Maybe not me, but everybody else is a good person. Teddy, anything to add to that?
Yeah, I'm not going to guarantee anyone's going to win because that's not what we do. Okay. I'm not guaranteeing it. Handicappers go hot. Handicappers are not always hot. That being said, with a lot of beginning bettors, a lot of intermediate bettors, with guys that haven't tried it out, it's a great opportunity to try us out. Okay. Yep. It's for first time. It's only for first time buyers that try WT promo code at checkout and take half off. Real simple.
Yep. I couldn't recommend anything more. It's right up there with recommending Blackbird on Apple TV, 6-episode series that will blow your mind. Steve Merril joining us, everyone. Steve, always a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you for covering me while I was away in Whistler. We're going to be doing it again throughout the summer. This summer is going to be a whole lot of no Teddy and Prez. Teddy's taken a big chunk of the summer off, and
No
rightfully so, Teddy. Rightfully so.
No way.
Yeah.
Fake news.
Well, Teddy has been trying for the last 20 years to take the second half of the baseball season off to recharge.
Good.
He is committed to doing that this year. So no Teddy throughout July and some of August. And I'll be going away a lot. I'm looking like I'm going to fly down to Vegas. I'm just going to do some warm-up tournaments before the World Series starts, first week of May. Then I'm going on tour with the Grateful Dead. I'll be down in your parts. I'm hitting Bristow, Jiffy Lube Stadium. And then I'm going back to Vegas to play in the World Series of Poker. So we'll be relying on you and Andy Lang a lot throughout the summer, my friend. Welcome to the show.
No, it sounds good. And it's ironic you're talking about travel plans because last night we were looking at flights for the meet and greet in Vegas, debating between the 1 and 2 week. We did 10 days last year. We're going to either do 7 or 14 this year. We're debating if we want to do 1 or 2, maybe throw a little in. So, Teddy, I'll just stay at your place since it's going to be empty, apparently.
Wait a minute.
Not in August, it won't be. No. I'm gone in July. I'm back the first week of August. I don't know what Lawrence is talking about, or the early August.
I said some of August.
Kickoff of preseason, I'm back.
Right.
Yeah,
Steve, so you bring your kids down with you? You think your children want to be in Las Vegas for 2 weeks? Are you out of your mind?
We did 10 days last year, and we still didn't get everything in that we wanted to get in. We didn't do the Hoover Dam. We didn't really basically leave the Strip. And then I mentioned it to them. I was like, you guys want to do Florida or would you rather do Vegas? They said Vegas, baby. No, we had a lot of fun. You know, I've mentioned this on the show a few times. We went to that Aces regular season finale and then went to the playoff game. Yeah. It was honestly one of the best sporting events I've seen the last 10 years. And we also went to the AAA baseball game that Sunday night before we left out in Summerlin. That's a great stadium. So, yeah, there's a lot to do. You don't need to be drinking or gambling to be having fun in Vegas.
Well, let's get to it, my brother. You want to talk Marlins and Phillies? Miami 5-7 to start the season. Philadelphia 4-7 to start the season. How do we bet this game?
Yeah, a little daytime action here for the live viewers. This game goes at 4:00 Eastern, so a late afternoon game. A lot of daytime games, by the way, today on Wednesday. So check that schedule because a lot of them start early. The Marlins were a play-on team for me when the season began, and I actually talked about them on the preview show a couple weeks ago, and also talked about them when I was on the Monday Baseball show. And I looked at them with Alcantara. They went from a small pick'em to a small favorite against the Phillies and got blown out 15-3. But if you look at the other two games on each side of that, the Marlins beat the Mets on Sunday, put up 7 runs, and then they beat the Phillies yesterday, put up 8 runs. I think the new rules are going to benefit Miami, especially the team that led the National League in stolen bases last year. And the new rules definitely going to increase steals. Now, we haven't seen that so far. Miami's kind of in the middle of the pack on stolen bases, but I do think we're going to see a lot more offense from a team that lost a ton of close one-run games last year. But instead of looking at the side in this one, I'm going to look at the total here. I like the over. This line opened 7.5. It's up to 8.5 to the over now. So we've seen a lot of sharp money on this total. It's crossed over the non-key number of 8. So as long as it stays below 9, which is a very key number. Remember, odd numbers are more important in baseball because of extra innings. A 4-4 game can't land on 8, for example. It has to land on 9 or more. So I like the over here. And as I mentioned, Miami did only put up 3 the other night, but they put up 15 in the other 2 games on each side. But the Phillies are red hot offensively as well. And that's why I'm not looking to get in front of them. They put up 15 runs against the former Cy Young winner on Monday night. They've had 31 hits, 19 runs these 2 games against Miami so far. So not going to overthink this one. 2 depleted bullpens, 2 red hot offenses, and we get a fair total still over 8.5.
So when we talk about it, I guess I'm trying to gauge what we're doing here. Are we fading these pitchers, the starting pitchers? Are we fading the bullpens? Or is this just, we like these lineups right now? It's a hitter's ballpark. It's good hitting conditions. Let's roll. Because I don't know if these are these pitchers you're looking to fade or not, I guess is my question. That's come around? Or is this much more about the lineups and the way these two teams are hitting and the way they're being priced?
Yeah, if you notice, Teddy, I didn't even mention either starter right in the analysis. So yeah, for me, it's a pure offensive momentum thing here. I've said this for a lot of years, and I know you look at this as well. I know when you've had some of those monster streaks in baseball, you had like that 41-10 run, a few years back. I remember you had a lot of overs during that run. I really honestly think that offensive momentum gets lost in the overall handicapping equation because when we're trying to beat the odds makers, we got to look at something different than they're looking at. Like everyone uses Ken Palm now in college basketball. It was great 5 years ago. It's basically priced in now, in my opinion. And I always feel like starting pitching is maybe a little overvalued. That's priced into the line. Bullpens are becoming a little bit more priced in, but that's a random variable. But once again, when two teams get decimated, the bullpens are going to be a little thinner. That helps the over. But I like the offensive momentum here, and I think it's something on a daily basis isn't always incorporated into the odds.
Steve Merril joining us, everybody. And yeah, Ken Palm, very excellent 5 years ago. I suggest everyone move to El Prez now. Much more effective, especially in NBA. Anyway, I don't think Teddy got my reference there. Speaking of overs, Steve Merril, we got Kansas City playing Texas. And the reason I mention overs is, well, this line looks a little short to me at 8.5. Texas, 2 overs in a row. Kansas City and Texas, 4 overs in a row. 8.5 seems slight. You got Evoldi with a 4.22 ERA. I like the over in this game here. Where are you going?
Well, the betting market agrees with you, Prez, because when I sent this over last night, it was 8.5 over. Now it's 9 to the under in almost most locations. There's a few 8.5s over 25 out there still, mostly 9.5 unders. And as I mentioned earlier, 9 is a key number, as is 7, because games are more likely to land on odd numbers in baseball because of extra innings. If it's a 4-4 game, it's automatically going to be 9 or higher because of extra innings. So we have seen a little bit of the value taken away from the over here, but I'm going to look at the side anyway. I actually had a best bet winner last night on the Rangers for my clients. We used the run line -1.5, got the juice down to like a -30 range. By the way, 100% this year on MLB sides, on money lines and run lines so far. We have not lost a side selection, so I've been seeing it really well. I've got another strong one tonight for Wednesday on the site right now, but this is a game that I would say was just a bit outside for making the cut. Rangers, another play-on team for me. I mentioned them in the preview shows a few weeks ago. I think the rule changes are going to really benefit this team. They were high in stolen bases last year. Haven't really stolen many bases so far this season, but I do think they're capable still with the new rules. But the one rule that's really going to benefit the Rangers is the shift rule. This team, I think, was hurt more by the shift than anybody last year because they have a lot of good left-handed hitters. And keep in mind, the MLB team shifted about a third of the time overall last year. They shifted over half the time against lefties, pulling guys to the right side of the infield. Can't do that anymore. So guys like Seager, some of the other big hitters in Texas, I think, are going to really benefit this season. And we've seen that play out so far. Obviously, when you have a right-handed starter, you're going to have more lefties in the lineup. The Rangers last year really did not do well against right-handed starters. That hasn't been the case this year. They're 6-3 against right-handed starters, just 1-1 against lefties, 7-4 overall. They're leading the AL West, and I like them again tonight. You can play them on the money line, obviously, at -165, -170, but you can also split it on the run line and get plus money, -1.5, +120. But the Rangers are a play-on team for me. They're in good current form, and I think they're going to benefit as much as any team from the new rules.
So certainly when we look at the two production levels of these lineups, there's a pretty big dichotomy. Texas hit the ball all year, KC not so much, but we've seen some signs that the Royals are coming out of their offensive funk twice in their last 4 games. They scored 5 runs or more. Is there any concern here about Kansas City getting going offensively?
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons we saw the line go from 8.5 to 9, Teddy, on the over. I do think maybe KC is heating up offensively. This is a team, though, that only put up 3 runs on 5 hits and 4 hits before they put up 5 runs on 11 hits last night. So I need a little bit more data, a little more consistency before I'm going to say they're breaking out of their slump. You could obviously play the Rangers team total over if that's a concern. I think that's another way to approach this game. One other thing I'll point out is the Rangers bullpen so far this season has been excellent. 2.2 ERA. The Royals bullpen a 6.0 ERA. So that's a big difference here as well. And another reason I would play this game either full game, money line or run line, or Texas team total over, because the bullpen's probably coming to play that gets more runs for Texas.
Wonderful stuff, Steve. As always, you come on the show with a promo. You are the best at doing that. Everyone should pay attention. Number one in NBA this calendar year. So since January 1st, 2023, 52-34 run, up 59 units. Congratulations. Number one in MLB side bets this season. Number one in MLB totals over the last 3 years. And really just an awesomely good dude. So guys, kind of two promos here. Use the promo code SM30PASS. That's SM30PASS. You get an all-access 1 month of Steve Merril for $199. However, if you've never purchased from us before, you're better off using TryWT and get 50% off that 1 month of Steve Merril. Steve, what do you got going for the clients tonight?
Yeah, it's a good point, Press, because I think that the 30-day is normally $299. So if you're a first-time buyer, use the other promo code. You're going to get it down to like $149 range. But the reason we did this promo code was because normally 1 month of NBA is $179, 1 month of baseball is $179. For that $199, you're basically getting both sports for just $20 more. You don't have to decide if you want my number one ranked NBA, which is 52-34 this year. You don't have to decide if you want my baseball sides.
Yes.
I messed up. Dan Newber, our youngin' in love, says it's only for a 1 day or 3 day pass. So totally on me. I won't screw that up again.
Don't worry.
Oh, I know you would have corrected me. That I was watching
I was just
your
waiting for my
finger.
chance.
You were like,
I was just, as soon as you said it, I'm like, no, it's no good.
Yeah. So anyway, SM30 pass. Is that what it is, Steve?
Yeah, we'll start fresh here. This is called a take two in the TV world here. We'll clip this version. Look, you don't have to decide if you want to get my number one ranked NBA 52-34 this calendar year with playoffs starting this week. You don't have to decide if you want my number one MLB sides. I haven't missed a side selection all season, 100% return. And since I joined WagerTalk 3 years ago, nobody's won more in MLB totals, number one there as well. Normally it's $179 for basketball, $179 for baseball. You don't have to decide. You can get them both for 30 days for just $199, but you have to have promo code SM30PASS, SM30PASS. Get you 30 days and nights of all sports. College basketball is done, but NBA, Major League Baseball on a daily basis for the next 30 days and nights for just $199. Full details on my page. And by the way, don't forget about the free plays. I've got a bonus free play for MLB tonight as well on the page right now, Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com.
Awesome stuff, Steve. Thanks again. Teddy Covers, one of my favorite segments. I get to sit back and listen to you. Tell us what we learned in the wonderful world of sports betting.
We learned, we've reinforced a lesson that we've learned many times before last night when it comes to the NBA, the mainstream rumor mill. What did we have last night going into the two play-in games? Well, the one narrative was Trae Young's going to get traded. Atlanta's in disarray. Their chemistry's falling apart. Trae Young hates Quinn Snyder. Everything's... And what happened? The mainstream rumor narrative was useless. The Hawks won wire-to-wire Miami. They could have folded multiple times in that game. The Heat gave a serious run in the third, another serious run in the fourth. And Atlanta didn't fold. Their chemistry was not falling apart. They guttered it out. They ended up winning straight up by double digits. A blowout against the spread. So what happened in the late game? The mainstream rumor mill. The T-Wolves are in disarray. Rudy Gobert suspended. They all hate him. Jalen McDaniels is hurt. They got no one they can defend. Naz Reid is hurt. The three significant rotation players. I heard Chris Finch was a shoo-in for the Raptors job after Minnesota loses twice. Lakers money poured in, up to -8.5. What happened? Again, Minnesota, wire to wire. They were plenty deep enough. Noel was back in the lineup. He helped. Nick Alexander-Walker, Taurean Prince. You know, they've been a deep team all year. Some teams aren't. Now, Chris Finch's bizarrely bad pick-and-roll game plan in the fourth quarter of overtime might have cost them the game. They scored, 16 points the last 17 minutes of that contest. And they still covered. So the point is this. The mainstream narratives are useless for beating the NBA playoffs. Turn off ESPN and watch the games. That's going to help you win. Or watch this show. There's my take. Lawrence, back to you.
Teddy, I was on Minnesota last night, plus 8.5. I mean, the last 6 minutes of that fourth quarter, Minnesota couldn't score a basket.
They didn't score a point.
No,
They didn't score a point.
and
Not a basket. They didn't even get to the free throw line.
it was unbelievable. But the craziest thing, and I don't know, I mean, I don't know how much you watched. I know you watch all this stuff, but the offensive sets, they were so out of sync. They were literally, guys were just dribbling the ball from the 3-point line until the shot clock went down. I think they had 3 shot clock violations. It was really ugly basketball. Congratulations to the Lakers. And I was sitting there going, who do I want to win? Because I had the plus 8.5. I felt comfortable. I did get worried in overtime. And it's good. It's good for basketball to have LeBron and his team win. And I'll tell you, man, I think I'm on like my 200th time seeing Anthony Davis. I don't think there's a larger human being on the planet, man. If that guy was a swimmer, he would have broke Michael Phelps's record. I've never seen shoulders. That guy is an animal. Anyway, who did you have last night? How did your night go?
We had the Atlanta Hawks last night, which was no sweat, no muss, no fuss. We'll talk about that a little bit more when it comes to big game breakdown. I, too, today, Prez, have a promo code.
Okay. Do you want to give it out, or you wait for your big game breakdown?
It's not all about Teddy. Let's bring in our next guest.
It's never about Teddy. Jimmy Adams joining us. How are you, my friend? What's going on?
Doing great, guys. Yeah, how entertaining was that Grizzlies-Lakers game, huh? 3 free throws by Mike Conley in the clutch to take it to overtime. Unbelievable. I mean, they should have never been in that position in the first place, but wow.
Yeah. There's a hell of a lot of drama from a fan perspective. That is for sure. Jimmy, you got a bet for us on a game that starts in about 50 minutes. The New York Mets, San Diego. San Diego on a 4-1 run right now. New York Mets zigzagging their last 4 games with a loss 4-2 to San Diego in their last one. Short line, minus 120, give or take. How you betting this game?
Yeah, so I'm looking at here. I'm looking towards the Mets. I'm seeing Tyler McGill as a bet-on pitcher for me, while Blake Snell's someone I'm looking to fade. McGill's a solid pitcher if he can stay healthy. I mean, he's averaged over a strikeout per inning in each of the past 2 seasons, had a 3.77 FIP last year. And so far in 2 starts this season, he's given up 2 runs while striking out 10, both wins against the Marlins, who I understand don't have the best, but he's still pitched well nonetheless. It's really the home run ball that's been Miguel's problem in previous seasons. So as long as he gets the ball in the park, he'll be just fine. And that hasn't been an issue so far this year. And then we have Blake Snell, who had a 545 BABIP against the Rockies while giving up 3 in just 4.1 innings, his first start. His second start was even worse, lasting just 3.2 innings while giving up 4 earned. But this time the strikeouts weren't there. He shut down just 2 via the K instead of 9 his previous time out. So if the Mets can lay off his slider that he likes to throw so much, they're going to have great success. Snell's a guy who throws a lot of pitches, right? Rarely throws deep into games. So it's going to be a big bullpen day for the Padres, who are about the 9th or 10th best bullpen in the majors, as far as the power ratings that I look at. In the ball pretty well. They did get shut out a few games back, but over the past 5 or so games, swinging the ball well. So I expect them to get to Snell here, and the Padres are going to lose for the 3rd straight time that he takes the mound. Give me the Mets in about a half hour.
So the betting markets are pretty well clearly saying that the Padres are the better of these 2 teams, given these given this money line, right? With it's a pick 'em price game in New York. With not an obvious, not like the Padres have their ace on the hill, and the Mets are putting up garbage. So the markets are saying San Diego is the better of these 2 teams, even with the Mets as short favorites. Do you agree with that assessment? And what's your take on Snell moving forward? Is this, we're going to fade Snell every time out right now? Or is this, well, he's an ace, he's won World Series games, and he got off to a slow start, but maybe he's going to come around? What's your take on Snell and these two teams?
Yeah, I'd say the Padres are probably the slightly better team. Certainly, probably from an offensive perspective, but I don't think there's a huge gap between the two. And yeah, Snell is probably a guy I'm going to look to fade unless he just starts dominating. Like I said, doesn't go deep into games, throws a ton of pitches, gives up a lot of walks, something I can't stand in a bet on guy. He hasn't done anything to impress really anyone, I don't think. Or he struck out the 9 in his first start. But other than that, not someone I want my money on. There's going to be a lot of pitcher in this game. So if they don't get to him, he'll exit early. And the Mets should get this one at home. Take the series.
Jimmy Adams joining us, everyone. Exclusive handicapper over at WagerTalk.com. Jimmy, let's go to the Cincinnati Atlanta game. Green versus Strider. Green hasn't made it out of the 4th inning 2 games in a row. You like a bet in the first 5. I'm curious what it is.
Yeah, I'm going to look at the first 5 under. And the key to this game is really Hunter Green. So, Braves Reds first 5 under with the idea that these starters are going to shut down their opposing lineups. I'm high on Hunter Green, Prez. I think he's a guy with a very high
Who isn't
ceiling.
high on Green, bro? I mean, we're all high on Green. I was high on Green at around 11 p.m. last night.
So remember, this is a guy who allowed just 2 earned runs in 23 innings in his final 4 starts last year with 37 strikeouts. So he's got great stuff. He'll hit triple digits if you're not familiar with him, and should settle down, I'm thinking here, now that it's his 3rd start. So far this year's been a little rocky, right? He needs to cut down on the walks, but the strikeouts have been there so far. And like I said, he's really the key to this wager because I have absolute faith in Spencer Strider shutting down this Reds lineup. Strider had a 1.83 FIP in 131.2 innings last year, opened the season by not allowing a run in 6 innings, then gave up 3 on just 4 hits to the Padres in his last start, somewhat unfortunate. But his velocity and spin are good. He's already got 18 strikeouts through 2 games. So in other words, the Reds aren't going to be able to hit Strider. I mean, he's striking out 40% of the batters he's faced, for goodness sakes. So one thing I've noticed, the Reds do not have a good bullpen at all. So if you're looking at playing the under, first 5 is probably the way to go. And I think the starters get it done here. I saw 4 at FanDuel about a half an hour ago. So under 4, first 5 in the game.
There aren't many books that post them, but a handful of books do have first half team totals or first 5 inning team totals. I'm seeing right now Cincy 1.5 to the under, -40 at one shop and -50 at another shop, which means they score 1 or 0 first 5 innings. Would you agree with that? I mean, is that what we're looking at from the Reds today? They're not getting anything going early. Would you be willing to lay that
would
under?
be kind of. Well, that would be kind of correlated with this wager, right? Because Spencer Strider is going to have to either give up 1 or no earned runs for it to go under, unless Green comes out in the dominant fashion that we've seen so many times from him, especially down the stretch last year. But I do like that, but I prefer the first 5, full game, just in case Strider does, give up a little bit, and it's Hunter Green that's dominant, But
there you go.
Both these guys.
Jimmy Adams, everyone. Jimmy, it's April 12th. You are 65% in the month of April. That's over a 12-day period. Congratulations. 11-6 baseball run, seeing things really well. Guys, if you want to grab Jimmy's package today and you're a first-time buyer, use the promo code TRYWT. You get 50% off. Jimmy, what do you have going for the clients today?
Yeah, thanks for the shout out as always, Prez. Thanks for having me on. Along with the streaks that Prez just mentioned, we're up over 82 units over our last 234 MLB plays. So steady long-term profit for years now. And I have a free play posted on my page pretty much every day. So head over to WagerTalk and at
Nice.
least take a look at that. See if I'm a good fit for you. And one best bet up for tonight. I am on the Mets as an official client play, and then another 4% best bet that goes down later this evening. So good luck to everyone out there.
Yeah, and Jimmy, one thing I really love about your style of handicapping is that you are a low volume better. And I listen. We have lots of different guys. We've got high volume guys, medium volume guys, low volume guys. But for me, the amount of discipline it takes to release one play when there are 12 games going on in a day is impressive. I love the low volume bettors. Guys, take advantage of Jimmy. He's awesome. Jimmy, thanks for joining us. Teddy covers. We're going to take a quick break. We're coming back with your big game breakdown and, of course, the wonderful and extremely sexy Art DiCesare.
Baseball is back, and with the NBA and NHL playoffs around the corner, we have a fantastic offer to keep you in action from the first pitch to the kickoff of the upcoming NFL season. We have you covered with every client release, including any 5% best bets from your favorite WagerTalk or Sports Memo handicapper from the day you sign up to the 2023 Pro Football Hall of Fame game when the Cleveland Browns and the New York Jets kick off at 8 p.m. on Thursday, August 3rd for under $4.50 per day, coming out to just $32 per week. To lock in your favorite WagerTalk or Sports Memo expert through the start of the NFL preseason, it would cost you well over $1,000, but for a limited time, pay only $4.99, coming out to just under $4.51 per day. As an added bonus, your access begins when you sign up, so the earlier you do, the more free days you'll get. This offer will include all sports and any 5% best bets played during this time, so act fast and lock in your favorite WagerTalk or Sports Memo handicapper through the start of the football season for the lowest price possible. This incredible playoffs to preseason kickoff promotion ends at midnight on Monday, April 17th.
It is time for today's big game breakdown. Let's go to the association in Toronto tonight, where the Bulls and the Raptors meet up. Right now, look at the WagerTalk live odds screen. Let's call it Toronto -6. They've taken the side money. Total been bet down to 212.5. We've seen plenty of under money. Before I get into the analysis here, I don't hype very often. I'm going to hype today. All right. My NBA. I'm just going to read the numbers. 71% in April. 25-13, 66% over the last 6 weeks, up 38.5 units. 171 and 112, 60.4% since February 2022. That's up 181.3 units. Full NBA playoffs last year, 29 and 15, 66%, plus 42.8 units. And I had the Hawks last night. Clearly, we've been seeing the NBA. Clearly. You can take $50 off the rest of the NBA through the finals, the entire season. Just go to my page. You get an NBA package, the playoff package through the end of the finals, and use promo code NBA50 at checkout. Again, NBA50 at checkout is good at both WagerTalk and SportsMemo.com. So the play-in games went 6-0 to the under last year. They went 2-0 to the under last night. That's 8 straight. And here's your under again. All right. DeMar DeRozan has had a terrible time against Toronto this season. He's been held 10.5 points below his season average against the Raptors. A really tough match for him. They defend him well. All right. Same story with Zach LaVine. All right. The Toronto approach, Fred VanVleet. Those two guys don't really guard. You just guard with one person. It takes a 5-man group. I think limiting touches and attempts is your best way to start on those guys. Ojianumi, just get in the game plan, try to limit touches, force them out as much as possible, make it as difficult as possible. Toronto's done that very, very well. And of course, the Bulls don't hit 3-pointers. The worst 3-point shooting team in the NBA. The fewest 3-pointers made per game during the regular season, dead last in the league. I don't think Chicago lights up the scoreboard tonight. At the same time, who's the best team in the league since the All-Star break in points per game allowed? That's Chicago. Who goes through extended stretches, game after game, in which the offense just doesn't seem to work and sputters and sputters? That's Toronto. Expect defensive intensity tonight and expect another under. There's your big game breakdown. Back to you, Mr. Prez.
Teddy Covers doing a little self-promo work. I love it, dude, and rightfully so, man. I mean, your NBA is ridiculous. Congratulations on those numbers. Art DiCesare joining us. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I got nothing bad. I mean, there's been a bunch of guys getting a lot of NBA hype, and I have nothing bad to say about it. Marco's had a great year. You've had a great year. Merrill's had a great year.
Yeah.
My NBA has been really good for a long time.
Perennial.
181.3 units. Beat it. Go.
Beat it, bitch! You should have flexed. Let's see a flex after that, man. Wow, Teddy. I don't know. I'm happy to make a wager with you. Anytime, any place, anywhere, especially if we could play head-to-head
playoffs.
poker.
Let's go, baby.
Okay, let's. We're both 1-0. We're both 1-0. Okay, Art, can the Westgate put a line up right now on who will win between Teddy and I in the NBA? Why can't that be a bet? Why can't someone come to the counter and make that bet? And I would make Teddy the favorite.
You got to grade it off a box score.
I got Teddy at least the $2 favorite as an opener.
That's out of control. Dude, what the? I am beating him this year, Art. Beating him this year. Art, put me down for $500. Put me down for $500. Everybody, you heard that? It is official. The Westgate, it's 2-1 on Teddy. Put me down for $500 to win $1,000. No, to win $1,500 because I get my $500 back. No.
You're using a no vig line.
I'm taking
minus
that bet.
200 is plus 140 back on your side, dude.
Okay, fine. I'll take it at plus 140. That's fine. Art, put me down at plus 140. You can want a 60-cent line. Fine. Done. Put me down plus 140 in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat.
You're down. You're down. Wait, hold on. Teddy's now minus 220. So,
I didn't get the best line?
No.
I didn't get the best line?
Because you bet it. You bet it the other way.
We went the other way.
Yeah, it's moved. Yeah.
But seriously, Art, can the Westgate put a line up ever for something like that?
No, but that would be a lot of fun.
So I remember there was a contest. It was called Beat Boston in like maybe 2006 or 2007. And it was Brent Crow against Allen Boston in college basketball over the course of a season. You know, there was like 10 at the back. This is back when the Riviera was still up. And we'd go every Friday night down to the Riv. And the famous thing from that contest that Allen Boston got jumped and he got smashed by someone with a metal pipe as he was going into the contest. The rumors that he owed somebody money. Nobody knew for a fact. But that happened literally as he was going in that night. But there were betting odds available in town for that.
Yeah.
They were very short.
I want odds on Teddy and I in the NBA playoffs. Come on, Art. Pull some strings.
Well, the limits were short.
Make the limit short. Make it $100 limit. Just for fun. Come on, Art.
Prez, it's not going to be good for your ego because I think tickets will be pretty slanted towards Teddy.
Okay, so Art, just for the record, things that aren't good for my ego, are probably good for my ego, if you know what I'm saying here.
Yeah, probably.
And secondly, I've been called worse. I don't mind. Get those lines up. Art, let's get into it. And I got to start with a question. These play-in games, look, they're not standalone. There were 2 yesterday, 2 tonight, and then there's, et cetera, whatever. But it's less than 4 or 5 or 6. Are you taking more action on these playoff games than you will on a game in round 1?
Yeah, that's a good question, Press. I think the matchup has to do with it. Obviously, the Lakers being on last night was huge. You know, for us, I always say like equate like what's on sound. For us in the book, we had both playing games on sound. Obviously, the Lakers being the later game, a lot of hooting and hollering with the comeback. Obviously, we're going to offer all in-game stuff over the counter on all these playoff games, including the in-games or the playing games. So that also helps the handle as well. So, yeah, I mean, once we get into the first round and we have some, decent matchups in the first round, they will probably get better action. But, with hockey kind of winding down and, people maybe trying to get their feet wet with baseball, yeah, the NBA takes really good action. And I've said this for a couple of years on the show, man. The NBA, I've seen the growth in the betting on the NBA in my short time in the business, 5 or 6 years. So the NBA is really heavily on our radar and something that we know we're going to book a lot towards.
So I know we've seen Raptors money. I know we've seen under money for tonight's Raptors Bulls game. What about the other game? Or if there's anything different to report for this evening, let me know.
No, you hit it with the Raptors Bulls, Teddy. Yeah, absolutely Raptors money. We were 4.5, now 6. We had a total of 216.5, now 212.5. I mean, I remember it was 213.5 when I left work last night, so it moved even another point towards the under. Pelicans, we've seen money come in there. It was 4.5, now 5.5, and that total shot down as well. We were as high as 231.5, now 226.5. So, both games went under last night. I think most people feel that these games are going to go the way of obviously playoff games, and there's going to be the intensity on the defensive end. That's why you see the under money come in. Now, obviously, the under money early at the best numbers from the sharps, and then the public gets in maybe a point or a point and a half later, but it just continues to drive the number down, and the markets move that way. So, yeah, definitely under money in the Pelicans game. That's what we're sweating.
Yeah, the play-in games riding an 8-0 run to the under, dating back to last year after the 2-0 under run last night. At ArtDice21 on Twitter, an excellent follow. Art, for the weekend in the NBA, have you seen any early betting action? I know we got at least lines up for 6 of the 8 series. The other 2 will be determined down the road. What are you seeing in terms of the weekend's action, early action in the association?
Yeah, so early action, it's actually one of the last games that we have put up. The Hawks getting in. Obviously, Hawks and Celtics is the matchup. We opened Celtics -8, quickly got bet by Sharps, now at 9. So you've seen a full point move there. Some of the other games, there really hasn't been much. Some of the numbers have stayed pretty steady. Just to kind of let people know where we stand on some of these series. Obviously, we get into where we can have series prices and exact series results. So that's always fun. We've actually taken a pretty good amount of money on the Knicks. We took sharp money at plus 195, plus 185. Now we're Knicks plus 175, Cavs minus 190. So, we are going to be rooting for the Cavs against the Knicks. Nothing but Knick money for us. The Warrior one is interesting. The Warriors minus 275. Obviously, people know the pedigree of the Warriors, but there are a lot of people who have just come in and said, you know what, we'll take a shot with the Kings. It's nothing sharp. It's just public perception saying we'll take the Kings at plus 230, plus 235. So those are some interesting series prices. And then that Grizzly Laker one that we opened last night. We opened Grizzlies minus 130, Lakers plus 110 on the other side. Despite early public money on the Lakers, we've moved to Grizzlies minus 140, Lakers plus 120. So interesting to see that. Despite the earlier Laker money, the Grizzly money has started to flood the market, and we've moved 10 cents towards the Grizz.
Yeah, and Art, I actually wanted to ask you about the Grizzly Laker matchup for one reason. Before we get into that, guys, we need 12 more likes in the next 2 minutes if you want a daily presidential address. So let's go. Art, what's interesting to me about this Lakers-Memphis series is you have a really high-profile team with high-profile talent in a city that has just an army of bettors against a team that might have one of the smallest fan bases and betting armies out there. That's got to be factored into the line. And yet here you tell us that the Memphis line has moved 20 cents already. You have futures on the Lakers. You think there's going to be a lot of action on the Lakers because of that massive army of bettors they have?
It's an interesting thought. I mean, we're always fighting against the Lakers. Obviously, if the Lakers win the West or win the NBA championship, this you could probably say every year is not going to be a good result for us. And there's something about Memphis too. They almost are like a villain of the NBA. Like they're just one of those teams that I guess unless you root for the Memphis Grizzlies, and I've never met a Memphis Grizzly fan. Not saying that they aren't out there. I know there's a lot of people who like John Morant, but like they just seem to be like a team who's always getting into it with other teams, fans. Morant had his problems. They seem to be a villain, and people just blindly come in and bet the Lakers. And I think when you see the Lakers at plus 110 as an open series price, now plus 120, you're going to get Laker money. I mean, that does happen. So, yeah, the line probably should be a little bit higher for Memphis because they're the better and younger team. But, like you said, that Laker army of bettors, they like to come in and put money on their purple and gold, no doubt.
Yeah, Art, I'm going to throw to Teddy, but I'm getting abused. Hell of a question you cut me off for, Prez, and so well delivered. Let me know when you are done. Oh, my God, Teddy, like, do you ever stop? Anyway, man, you go ahead, dude. I don't need to fight with you. You don't even have any estrogen. It's not worth fighting with you.
We've got just a moment left with Arthur DiCesare as the clock ticks down on Wager Talk today. Art, before you leave, I do want to ask you about some actionable information in baseball today. Where's the money coming? Who the pros like, and who do the Joes like?
Teddy, as far as just a quick little MLB roundup, I know there's a lot of early games today, but, just 3 totals to talk about, and they're all overs. Cardinals, Rockies, we had 12.5. We're now at 13, minus 120 to the over. I know you guys with Steve had touched on that Phillies Marlins game. We did open 7.5. Now 8.5, minus 120, 125 to the over. And the White Sox and Twins, we were over 8. Now over 8.5, minus 115. So, with all these rule changes and the scoring and the pace and all these type of things, you see a lot of the over money come in on our overnight lines and push games half a run or sometimes even a full run like we saw in that Phillies Marlins game.
Art DiCesare, everyone. Art, I'm still really in need of you putting a lineup for Teddy and I. If not for the NBA, we could do like how many times Teddy gets mad at the Prez. And that way you can show the show on your big screen. Yeah, but like, is it 5 times in a show over and under? Come on, Art. What do you got to promote,
I don't
brother?
know. Hey, Prez, I don't know if I could make that line even high enough. I mean,
yeah,
I mean, even if we did 5.5, it's going to be juiced to the over. So you know how that goes. But now, gentlemen, listen, always a pleasure coming on with you guys. Listen, guys, this is a great time to come down to the Westgate, get signed up for the app. Obviously NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs are about to start. Full swing of baseball, Kentucky Derby in a couple of weeks. Just a lot going on down at the Westgate. And as always, if anyone ever needs help when they're down there, you come in, you ask for Arthur DiCesare, and I'll be more than happy to help you with whatever you need.
Beautiful stuff, Art DiCesare. Thanks for joining us, man, every Wednesday. I know you're a busy man. Teddy Covers, we got our likes. Daniel's son, you awesome lover, you with your beautiful girlfriend. Throw more Twitter pictures up. Cue up the daily presidential address. All right, guys, it's time for your daily presidential address. I got 3 bets for you, 2.5. I don't have that much in the Dallas-St. Louis game. There's 3 hockey games tonight. I'll break them all down on how I'm personally betting these games. Before we get into that, I do want to tell everybody, tonight's the night to play my NBA. I won last night, and I got bets on both games tonight, including one total. I'm on an 11-4 run in the NBA. I'm second most profitable expert behind Marco by literally the one and only hair that sits on his head. So I plan on catching him tonight, hopefully. I got 2 NBA plays, 2 baseball plays. You can grab them all for $19 over at a WagerTalk. And if you've never purchased anybody before, you can buy my plays for half price. Use the promo code TRYWT. Okay, we got the New York Islanders playing the Habs tonight, minus 330. No chance I'm playing the Islanders. If you watched Wager Talk Today yesterday, you heard that I liked the Chicago Blackhawks at plus 410. They won. What do I like in this game? I like 2 bets. I like the over team total for the New York Islanders. The Habs are playing no defense. And I like under team total for the Habs. Even though it is 1.5, I think we're going to see a 4-1, 5-1 type of a hockey game with the New York Islanders going over their team total and the Habs going under. As for Dallas and St. Louis, I lean on Dallas, but I'm very concerned about this game. I know Dallas needs to win for home ice advantage, but they also need to rest players. They're not starting their main goalie tonight, which has suggested that they're not going all in on tonight's win. I lean on Dallas. I'm not going to bet it. My favorite play on the board, period, is the over in the Calgary-San Jose game. San Jose going over 9 out of 10 times. Calgary with the monkey off their back. Their season's done. They're ready to golf. Nobody's blocking shots. Nobody's going to care. I like the over. Teddy covers Center Street Deli today. Montreal smoked meat sandwich. I'm pumped. Take us home.
Sure, that's going to wrap it for the Wednesday edition of Wager Talk Today. Remember, you can take $50 off my NBA full playoff package through the finals using promo code NBA50 at checkout. We'll be back again tomorrow right here on Wager Talk Today. Same time, same channel, 9 a.m. here on the left coast, noon for you back east. Between now and then, you guys know what to do. Enjoy the games. And best of luck with all of your wagers.
Have you checked out all the new handicappers at WagerTalk? If not, here's your chance. You can take 50% off your first daily or 3-day all-access purchase at WagerTalk using coupon code TRYWT. Our new roster of experts is 30 deep, covering sports from all around the world, giving you tons of options to choose from. All you have to do to redeem this offer is go to WagerTalk.com, choose a handicapper of your choice, and use coupon code TRYWT at checkout, saving 50% on your first purchase.